It took me a very, very long time to get into opera. I was a theatre director for a very long time, and I worked in loads of different theatres in the UK, including the Globe, and I worked at the National Theatre for a bit. But opera was always the thing that was kind of gnawing away at my insides. Eventually, I was offered my first opera for Northern Ireland Opera in Belfast, which was a Così fan tutte, and fell in love with it immediately as a form. I got completely hooked from that point onwards, and I went to work on my first show at the Royal Opera House, which was a little performed Handel opera called Berenice, and that started my love of the Baroque canon. And a couple of years ago, I directed my first Verdi Il Trovatore at Open House Zurich, and that's now started a kind of absolute obsession with Verdi's music and his operatic works. I really wanted to try and channel the radical and rebellious side of Verdi's opera, which I think is really important to Rigoletto, actually. It is obscene, it is immoral, it is debauched, it is really hard to watch at points. But because Verdi is such an amazing dramatist and obviously such an amazing composer, somehow all of that kind of despair and pain is channeled into something that's truly sublime and just extraordinary. And the other thing that is really fascinating for me as someone who used to work in theatre is Verdi's obsession with the Shakespeare canon, with Jacobean plays. The libretto is as strong a piece of theatre as it is, you know, the kind of blueprint for a musical performance. And then add into that Verdi's unbelievable score, which channels the wildest and most unusual range of influences, from Baroque beauty at some points to clown music to popular song to grand 19th century opera. That, you know, it's just catnip for a director. I think you should buy a ticket because whether you've seen an opera before or not, this is a really compelling and extraordinary piece of music theatre that I think will confound any expectation you have of what opera is or what might be scary about it if you are a first timer to opera, because Verdi is such a supreme dramatist that the collision of music and the playing out of the drama in the piece is as compelling as any piece of, you know, film or theatre or television you can imagine. And it's a great night out.